Good evening, friends. Today, the topic of this video lecture is marketing environment. So, what is environment? Environment is a French word which comes originated from environner. That means something which encircles or to surround. So, we all exist in certain kind of environment. Similarly, every organization and company also exists in certain kind of environment. So, Philip Kotler has defined marketing environment as these are external factors and forces that affect the company's ability to develop and maintain successful transactions and relationships with companies' target customers. That means how company relate with the target customers and what are those external factors which actually affect the that whether the company is going to develop good relationship with the customer or they are not going to develop good relationship. There is a weak relationship between the target customer and the company, and marketing completely depends upon the customers. That much we already know. Now, marketing environment is actually the combination of two types of factors, internal factors as well as external factors. So what is internal factors and what is external factors? Today we are going to see it. Okay, so what is internal factor and what is external factors? So internal factors are those factors that is completely under the control of any organizations. What are these internal environment? What constitutes this internal environment? So we can say there are five different M's. There are five different M's like money, material, machinery, manpower, and machineries. These are the actually five M's which constitute the total internal environment, and they are completely under the control of the organizations. I will say next how. Now we'll see this diagram. There are this. We have divided this marketing environment into two parts. This is internal environment and external environment. So internal environment, I told you, that is controllable factors, which is under the control of the environment, and external environment. And then I have also bifurcated this external environment into two. We can see in the diagram micro environment and macro environment. So micro environment are those external factors which has direct influence on the functioning of the organization, but because they are very small components, they are not very big components, they are small components, and they are actually partially under the control of the organizations. So these are the five internal environment. These are man, material, machinery, money, markets. I have already told you that these five factors, these five M's constitute the internal environment. Now, how they are under the control of the organization, I will give you an example. We are seeing every day, we are seeing these days news of Google, Twitter, and we are seeing so many changes in the combination of the human resources. They are hiring when their demand of when the product and the services of their companies in demand, they are then retrenching and downsizing the human resources when the demand for their product and services is reduced in the market. So it is completely under the control of the organization. Similarly, material, from where to buy, what quality of material buy, which suppliers should be developed to buy that particular material, it is also completely at the option of the organizations. Machinery, to which extent they are going to automatize or mechanize their organization, it is again decided by the organizations only. So they are upgrading their organization according to the availability of the capital, resources, money. Okay, so next factor is the money. Okay, money, मतलब कहाँ से लोन लेना है, कैसे कैसे हम कैश जनरेट कर सकते हैं, from which places, bonds issue करके, shares issue करके, investors से, how to raise money and how to circulate those raised money into the business. That is again completely within the control of the organization. And then market means you have to select your target customer, which you are going to launch your product into the urban market, to the semi-urban market, to the global market. Export import products are there, and you're going to only export the material outside the market. These all are the decisions made by the organizations, and that's why they are under the control of the organizations. That why, but these are the internal environment. It also has ability, it also has potential to influence the operations of the marketing and the businesses, but these are the controllable factors. Okay, now we are going to talk about the external environment. These external environment are further divided into two parts, that is micro environment and macro environment. So So microenvironment are those factors that influences the marketing activities directly. The micro components of those external markets or those external environment is known as the task management. Why? Because these are the external forces and the factors that are directly related to the business. We can include suppliers, vendors, market intermediaries, customers, and competitors into this particular environment. They are partially controllable factors. Suppliers, one can develop suppliers, one can develop local suppliers, one can develop branded suppliers who supplies the quality products, one can negotiate the terms and conditions of the suppliers. Similarly, intermediaries, some companies are directly selling their product into the market without help of any channel of distribution. Some companies are developing well managed channel of distribution. So the better these intermediaries are developed, the better will be the relationship with the customers of the market. So these also had effect on the customer and business relationships. Customers are the core of any marketing strategy. So how to relate with the customers needs and requirement should be dealt with the services and the product. If the products are not satisfying the need of the customer, everyday customers need may vary. Okay, with the upcoming competitors, when the upcoming new technologies, customers keep switching on one product to another product, and another product has should have the potential to influence to attract the customers and to sell their product for a longer term with those customers. So how they associate with the customers. Then competitors, some competitors, maybe some companies have decided to go offline marketing only, but some are the other competitors. They are providing their products and services online and offline. So this is again what competitors. So those competitors who are trying their best, who are providing their products and services both for platform online as well as offline platforms, they are actually doing well into the environment in comparison to those companies who are actually choosing only one, or they have limited their area of service providing services, right? So these are those factors which are actually partially controlled by the organization. They can take a little bit decisions of their own. This is not completely uncontrollable factors, right? Now we are going to talk about macro environment or the uncontrollable factors. Uncontrollable factors on which there is no control. Company cannot control any of these factors, and that's why they constitute the macro marketing environment. Macro marketing environment can have the capability or have the potential to influence the market favorably, or it can actually poses the threat for the organization. So what are those uncontrollable factors? You can see in this diagram: demographic forces, economic forces, socio-cultural forces, technological, ecological, and political forces. These are few forces which is actually out of the control of any company, but they have to deal with all these factors in order to remain successful into the market. So we're going to deal all these forces or factors one by one. Demographic. What do you understand by demographic? Demographic factors means combination or the density of the population, the combination of different types of customers, whether they are literate, illiterate, the income groups, different level of educations, different structure of the मेल एंड फीमेल का क्या कितना ओरिएंटेशन है, किस तरीके का ओरिएंटेशन है, whether the female are more professional in that particular area or they are more household women, they are taking care of their families. So these all decides the demand of certain kind of product. And demographic factors actually have capability to increase the demand of certain kind of products. For example, if the working lady is more in that particular area, in that particular market, then what happened? The demand for the different types of services like crèche services and nanny, this will be increased because they wanted their support system. They wanted to work on their support system so that they can go for the job and do their job, actually taking care of their job, and then their family will also not suffer. So these are the demographic factors which influences the demand for certain kind of services and which also influences the demand of certain kinds of product, right? Now, ecological factors. Ecological factors is actually dealing with the natural resources available in the particular country or in that particular geographical area. So ecological factors means natural, how to deal with the natural environment, natural resources. So so many companies are actually taking the responsibility of conserving the environment. We have seen on the global spectrum, we have seen worldwide funds and several NGOs are coming forward, and they are promoting the importance of saving the environment, promoting the green marketing concept, promoting the paperless concept within the organizations. They all are trying their best to contribute in the preservation and conservation of the environment. So these are the factors. Sometimes government also make certain regulations, rules in order to keep them aligned, because in certain places you cannot pollute air in, if in the highly populated area, you cannot pollute the water of that particular area. You have to first treat the byproduct of the companies, and then you can residue can be then left into the into any river, so that it can minimize the pollution, water pollution or air pollution or certain kind of things. That's why we are seeing that so many companies are coming with the tetra packaging of food articles, and then they are discouraging one single use plastic uses into the market. So these are the ecological factors which actually organizations has to take care. Okay, now economic factors. This is the economic factor, means global ho या local ho, economic factors will put their maximum influence on the functioning or the operations of organizations. For example, we have recently seen the lockdowns. During lockdown, we have seen that certain companies had suffered a lot during that particular time, like tour and travel agencies. The demand for that services is going to the reduced like anything, because people are bound to live within the four walls of their houses, their homes. They are not allowed to go anywhere. The pandemic situation is not good. That's why lockdown is there. So certain companies like restaurants, like tour and travel companies, they suffered a lot. But at the same time, we have seen the opportunities for different kind of companies like Swiggy, like Zomato. They have actually the better chances, opportunity. That particular situation came for them as an opportunity, because then now if we wanted to eat during that lockdown time, we can order something online and they will leave the parcel on our doorstep. So these are the economic factors. If the Lehman Brothers get bankrupt, then it has influence on the Indian market also. Lehman Brothers is the Bank of USA. But then if that gets during 2000, we have witnessed the recession because of the bankruptcy of the Lehman Brothers Bank. So if it has actually global effect, and anywhere if the dominant countries are suffering through economic recession, then it has its influence on the operations of the business also. Okay, so now next will be the socio-cultural factors. Socio-cultural factors, it is very simple to understand that everywhere people preferences and their needs and their want changes. If we take examples of India only, we can see that in South India, people prefer mostly sambar, idli, vara. If we go to the Maharashtrian Zone, Maharashtra state, we'll see that people are demanding more for the bara pav and the misal pav. That kind of things are more in demand. In our Bihar, we are actually asking for the litti chokha, which is famous for Bihar. Makhana, that is our geo-taxed product, geo-indexed product. Geographical indexing हो चुका है मखाना का. तो these are the things जो हमारे preferences को, हमारे needs को, हमारे likes को address करता है. और ये सिर्फ address ही नहीं करता है, that is the need of that particular customer of that particular place. Like people of South India eats most of the sour product, because the temperature of that particular place is so high that they cannot, if they will not eat, they will not consume the sour things, they'll have some physiological problems, right? That's why there's socio-cultural factors. Social combination क्या है उस जगह का, किस तरीके के लोग हैं वहां पे. अगर urban है, literate है, तो they will go for the different kind of products. Like we can see that the another example of socio-cultural factors, how it influences Netflix. Netflix is actually this is the product which is developed keeping in mind the urban people, because the resources required to play Netflix web series or any kind of things, internet is the essential thing, and the availability and the speed of the internet is good in urban area in comparison to the rural area. And also the consumer using the smartphones and having laptops and other gadgets are more, the urban people are more equipped with all these tools. That's why these are the products which is get promoted in the urban area, but they are not the requirement of the people living in the rural area. So there are different kinds of product, there are different preferences, there are different needs based on the socio-cultural factors. Whatever things are acceptable in our culture, in Indian culture, is not getting acceptable in the other Western culture. So everywhere the things will get designed and marketed on the basis of the need and preferences of the customer, and that gets constituted by the socio-cultural factors of that place. Now coming forward to the political and legal factors. Political factors. If the ruling party or the political party of any company is not as stable, then it has its influence on the market. We can see that when the elections are there, or when the people are not, the parties are not getting majority in any election, then we can see that there is a sign of bear market in the stock market. The stock market also not doing well. Why? Because the companies are not doing well. Why companies are not doing well? Because investors are not ready at that time to invest into the market, invest into their businesses, because they have some suspicion regarding the political stability, which kind of political government is going to form the government, and then that decide the demands of certain kinds of product and services. Now if you take example of legal factors, I can give you one example of Bihar only, that from last 5-6 years Bihar is a completely dry state, and government has banned the selling and purchasing of the liquor products, and that is what these legal products has been prohibited. The overall operations of buying and selling of the liquor product has been illegalized, and that affects the liquor market into the Bihar. So these are the legal factors. So the company has to abide by the law formulated by the government. So these also had its influence on the business operations. Now, international environment. If we are talking about international environment, the recent example of Russia and Ukraine will help us to understand how this will influence the operations of any business or any market. You can see that there is war in Russia and Ukraine, and that also causes raise in petroleum product in the Indian market, and different kinds of products also. रसिया यूक्रेन के वॉर में हमारे स्टॉक मार्केट पे भी निगेटिव असर पड़ा है. Why? Because there is instability, worldwide instability है इसके वजह से. इसीलिए इंटरनेशनल एनवायरमेंट पे, if the government of any other dominating countries are not doing well, if the companies of, if any big brand of international MNCs are not doing well, then it all has its influence on the, and we all are related. The world become a global village, and in this global village, every transactions, every movement in any environment of the business will have its impact on the other factors or other parts of the businesses, right? So these are the international environment. Now coming forward with the technological factors. Technological factors, we can see that company has to cope up with the technological advancement. We have seen during demonetization, people suffer a lot because daily wages earner doesn't have any bank account, and they cannot accept, and the government is that time promoting cashless economy. So many people have actually migrated from the city or from the metro towns to their villages, because they are not getting paid daily basis from their employers. So that we have seen, and now the scenario is different. People have shown the advancement. They have developed the digital payment mode. There is Google Pay, Paytm mode, and another mode of digital payment that has been, now you can see at every grocers, every fruit sellers and grocery sellers and every other kind of small or big stores having their Google Pay as scanners. They can sell and purchase their product with a digital payment mode, because these are the technological advancement. If the technology is getting edge, if the people are switching on the recent technology, then every company has to cope up with those changes, and they have to introduce change according to the change in the technological environment as well. So with the help of all these things, we can conclude that this micro and macro environment of the external environment and this internal environment, they together form a complete environment around any organization, because organization do not operate in isolation. They also operate along with all these factors, and they have to address, they have to respond to the changes into these factors. Those companies who actually give timely responses to these factors, they will survive and they will flourish day by day, and those who have failed to cope up with all these changes, they will not survive into the market today's scenario, right? So with this, we are going to conclude this chapter today. We'll next again we'll start with come up with the different video in next video lecture. We'll come up with some different topic. So thank you very much.